Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I don't know where you're in the world, but I know that it's early evening in Washington, D.C., where I am. And I am Carla Richmond from Rehan Allahwala's World of Connections. And I am here to speak with Kenny Scherr, who is in Los Angeles. He also goes by Chapati, and he will explain who Chapati is. And we are here to talk about his life, his work, and his passions. Unlike all of my shows, this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization creating peace one conversation at a time. Kenny, could you please introduce yourself? I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thanks so much, Carla. My name is Kenneth Scherr. We say Kenny Scherr, and I'm delighted to be guest. And I'm very happy to share what knowledge I have, and hope it can help you as well as me to bring happiness, joy, and more splendid life. One full of
Can
more
you
love and light.
Thank you, Kenny. Can you please introduce yourself and let people know what you do for a living and what you have been doing throughout your life? Oh, please.
Well, I started out as a child, which I've heard people say, and when I was young, it was, way back in my 20s, I began to become involved in meditation, and I enjoyed it so much I decided to become a teacher of meditation. I became a teacher of what's called TM, Transcendental Meditation. Some people call it TM is too much, but I called it Transcendental Meditation, and it helped people, and that's what I was enthralled about, that I could help people get rid of all kinds of physical illnesses they had, help people with getting, mental problems, emotional problems. And it wasn't too much what I was doing, but it was techniques that was helping people, and that made me feel good. Made me feel good to see people getting healthier. So after I did that, I went on to other things, meditation program, and I began to do some. My interest at the time was into um, sculpture, film, television, and more than in television. And I began to produce and direct some stuff for a CBS affiliate in Florida, and I worked a little bit on an NBC show, which was for kids. And then I was more into meditation stuff, and then I saw that I had some ability to be funny and act, and that's what chose me to pack bags and head to Los Angeles, because I felt, I saw people doing this and behind the camera, and I thought I could be doing it for me better than what I was seeing. And so I packed up my bags and drove to California back in 1984. And then I started my journey to developing my acting skills and developing a TV series, which I now have completed, where we've done 101 shows all about how food is medicine.
Wow.
And you can you can see glimpses and pieces of the show on the internet. Um, I've heard the internet is something which lets you go internally within and jump out and see yourself broadcast live on TV. The name of the show is called Food with Life. Now, it's not called Fool with Life, but Food with Life. And did you want to mention something, Carla?
Can
If
we
not,
go?
I'll just go on.
Can we
Please go
go?
ahead.
Can we go back a little? Did you grow up in?
Please.
Did you
What?
grow up? I'd like to talk. Can you hear me easily, Kenny?
Yeah, I hear you, but sometimes it breaks up.
There seems to be a
I grew,
problem.
I grew up in a city called New York. Are you familiar with it?
Did you say New York?
Yes, New York.
Ah, so when did you move to Florida?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was in New York, and I was in college. After I left New York, I went to college in Oklahoma for a year in architecture, and then I went to Ohio State for 3 years in architecture, and I went to school in Boston to finish. And I was very much wrapped into architecture. But then I had some serious car accident in Ohio. I had this I was in a coma for a while, and they didn't know if I was going to make it. And I made a miraculous recovery. They thought they didn't know if I'd make it, and I got out of the car, and I was in this coma. And I came out, and they thought I'd be in the hospital for maybe 6 months, and they didn't know what hiccups I would have. So I got out of the hospital in 7 weeks. And during that time, I was in a coma for about 6 days.
Do you have any sisters and brothers?
How do you get this off? Okay.
Kenny,
Yeah. So I can you hear me now?
well, it's
Yeah.
not so clear.
The sound is not acting, but we're doing our best. So can you hear me now, Carla?
We may need to reschedule. The sound is really getting bad. Um, do you have any family in left in New York, or is everyone in California now?
Yeah. Well, we're here in Los Angeles.
I said
So,
California.
Southern California, but it was a long road of steps. So I was got out of this hospital in Ohio. I was at Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio, and then I started to recover. I started getting interested instead of architecture because I had some neurological problems. I was getting into spatial stuff, which was sculpture, and I moved to New England and I started creating pieces of sculpture. Um, the first piece I created actually was at Ohio State, which was a monumental-sized piece, and I went to England and I went on my own and started creating a lot of about 8, 10 quite amazing pieces of sculpture, not having ever done sculpture. And I finished college in Boston at the Museum of Fine Arts and Tufts University. And just to this day, actually just 2 days ago, I have slides of all my pieces. Um, and that was shot 50 years ago. And I still had them in slides, and they're in perfect condition. So I sent them to some place to put them on. I drive, and I can put them online, which I'll do in the next month or two once I get them back. This converter. So I did that back then, and that was 50 years ago. I started getting into acting and writing. I moved to Florida to help a meditation group to create what was called a self-sufficient community called Cityland. And I did that for about 5, 6 months, and then I thought, I want to get back into the film and television stuff. So I left the Sid Land. I got a job for a CBS station in Fort Pierce, Florida. I worked there for 6 months. And in the meantime, I was doing some acting, and then I moved down to Palm Beach area because I had left this job at CBS station. Actually, I didn't leave it. They wanted me to edit and everything and do that at night. And then they graveyard shift. They asked me a couple times. I said no, so they fired me. So I was a little bit bummed out, or just, but I felt all for the better because I didn't want to kill myself staying up all night to do stuff that I really didn't want to do at that time. So I went down to West Palm Beach. I started acting and enjoyed it a lot, and got into a lot of plays, and some sense of humor came out of me. I had been involved with meditation, and I was very familiar with. Have you heard of TM? I think I mentioned Transcendental
Yes, I
Meditation.
have.
I think you're having a call.
Maybe let people know a little about TM, speak about it. Don't worry about the call. You just keep on talking.
Okay. So we
And I'll
did
help
this
you.
stuff, and I was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I will help you. Just people may not know anything about TM. Tell them a tiny bit of what it's about.
TM is a simple technique that you do 20 minutes a day. You simply close your eyes and you go within. And you do this technique, which allows your mind to settle down. It's an effortless technique. And you use a mantra as a way to use it, which is very specific, and you need to learn how to use it. So you begin to do what's called effortless thinking, and the technique is a lot of effortless thinking mentally, but what happens physically is the body completely is at a state of complete rest and quiet, and it's almost like you're unattached from things. But that rest allows stress, tension, physiological, emotional imbalances to be eliminated. And so you come out of the 20 minutes twice a day and you feel totally enlivened. Like a big load, a 1,000-pound load has been taken off your mind. And it rejuvenates your body with energy and liveliness and a whole bunch of physiological parameters, which is important. Mostly it's called restful alertness because your body is completely at rest, yet your mind is very, very much alert and sharp. So I did that. I taught TM, and then anyway, blah blah blah. I got into meditation, um, and then I was back in getting into acting after I left this job at CBS, and I thought, I see people on TV doing this. I could really do this in my own life and make some money. So I packed my bags. 1983, I put everything in my car and drove cross country from Florida to Los Angeles. So I got here in 1984 in the spring, and then 1984, and then I started um, putting myself out there, meeting people, talking to people, interviewing people, etc. Agent, and uh, got that, and I started getting auditions for shows. I was on Night Coach, Picket Fences, shows, small parts, but guest starring roles, and it was nice. People liked what I did, and it was funny. Um, and so I enjoyed that, and then I was doing that for a while, and then I was getting back meditation courses and so forth. Then in the late 80s, I should say, I came up with an idea that, this was from my meditative experience. I would see people were sick and ill and not happy, and a lot of it could be turned around, and people could be happy and could be enjoying more, and what I say is loving more. And so I created a series or a TV show, which is called what I call the show. It's called Food with Life, and it's about how life can be much more um, and the parameters, the imbalances we have in life can be very much eliminated because of our state of mind and state of body. So I created this show, and we started doing different our shows in Los Angeles. And we move to different areas of the world where we find remedies or different uh, ways to heal, different physical imbalances, diets, exercise routines, whatever it might be, to get rid of all kinds of imbalances and things to ease our emotions. And most important, which I think is very significant, is to love. Is to love and be happy with people, whoever it might be, wherever it might be. Because no matter where you go, the bottom line is LOVE. And I came up with the expression LOVE means love our very existence. And that's what it's all about. And when people are happy with that, then it's a whole different state of being, a whole different world that we're living in. I know we see a lot of stuff going on, on the internet and all this stuff we see here and there and everywhere. There's a lot of commotion, and I think we can somehow or slowly try turning that around by and just turning within ourselves. You know, in certain number of people, they used to do these studies at Maharishi International University and other places when there's certain percentages of people would be doing TM or practicing that inner awareness. Indeed, the crime rates, the negativeness, traumas, things would just drop dramatically when they had just small percentages of people practicing meditation. And then I started to get
Go
into another
on,
technique that was
finish what you
there
were
was
saying.
the one of Maharishi's disciples who I met first. I didn't meet him, but I saw him in 1978. Was someone named Sri Ravi Shankar, and he was a disciple of Maharishi, a pundit. And 1978, I was at Maharishi International University. There was a 7,000 course, and Maharishi there, and they had 7,000 people come around the world and to do these programs and try to create coherence in the environment and turn darkness, negative situation into a more positive light. So Sri Ravi Shankar there, and I didn't know anything what he was doing, but he was very much. And then I think about the late '80s, Maharishi told him, or it might have been the mid to late '80s, Maharishi told him to go out and teach what he was creating, which was a breathing technique called Kriya breathing, and that was a premise for starting his teaching. And so I started that his teaching in 1991, and I didn't become a teacher, but I took a course which I did become a teacher called Breath, Water, Sound, which is a technique to help you do this through your breathing, your diet, and the sound element of it. So, and then I didn't become a complete teacher. I didn't feel desire at the time to do that. I was enjoying more trying to create and develop this show, which was in the sort of next egg, which I started shooting in the late 90s, 1990s.
Now, are you still doing? I know that you were at one point chapati. Do you still work with chapati?
Body is a part of me. I was in Maharishi in 1980 at a Vedic science course in Delhi, and then somehow came up with this character named Chapati, and different than what I am here. When the thing is, when you're talking about uh, another, you're talking about another. But chapati is more like and it's easy to say here on the phone. It is I mean, on the TV. But the thing is, I created Chapati Ji, and he was a bread maker from many 3, 4, 5,000 years back. Japan make breads for the day in and the day out and the day in, and yeah, I would always be making breads, and so they gave of my name, Japati because I was always doing that. I would be making in the morning, in the middle of the day, at the night, and even when I was sleeping, I was eating bread. And they, because everybody would eat bread, so I would say I made bread, and then I would make making the bread, and I could putting herbs in the breads, different herbs, and different ways of making the bread, bake the bread, making it hot or making it cold, and the bread would rise or the bread would not rise. And there's many different herbs. So the herbs would help people with the sickness or the fever they might have, or the too much fluid in the body, and they would help the body become to a normal body. Anyway, so I did that for a while, and the shows as the host. And so to this day, we're in the process of exhibiting these shows to different parts of the world to see if people have interest in them, because they're really here to help people. Whatever cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stress, all different things that people have, the shows are there, and we've done them, and they can help people. Just people a matter of opening their eyes and seeing, well, there's something I could use, an element I could use. There's something that will help me, because everybody has stress, everybody has illness, and everybody, even if they don't think they do, we have some imbalance somewhere that we can get over, and we can get through it. Because you could say God or the divine, whatever you want to say, nature doesn't intend for us to be suffering and to be in a pandemic mode, so to speak. So, what I do is to use my acting abilities and my humor to try and lighten that up and make people enjoy more. Simple.
I remember meeting Chapati, and he's a lot of fun. Where is he right now? I would love for him to come into the interview.
Well, he travels with me, and sometimes I leave him behind, and sometimes I take him. Um, I have a nice little compartment in my suitcase which I can put him in, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like to be put in a suitcase, so I don't often let him stay there. Um, Sometimes I'll be in an airline, and I'll put him in my carry-on bag, and I put the bag one time up in the compartment above the seats, and I closed it, and then went off, and then you could hear something banging up above the compartment, and I would say, "What's that?" I would say it's just a friend of mine up in the overnight bag I carry, and she opened it up, and actually she opened it up. The noise stopped, and then when she went away, she came back again, and one or two people complained, and she came back, and she opened up the bag of the apartment and opened the suitcase I showed her. There was nothing in there. The chapati was gone. So anyway, it's funny. A vehicle I use to lighten up the scenario and make it happy, because I'm very much steadfast that happiness, laughter, joy is the most important part of living. It's, when I see all these things online, I try not to watch too much news, because there's a lot of stuff that it just doesn't fit comfortable in me. But a dark thing or this or that happening, it's just, it can be helped, but people, I guess, they act from where they're at, and that's all you can hope for. That maybe they will somehow see a better way or a lighter way to
Where is
get through
Chapati,
a situation.
Kenny? Where's Chapati right now?
Where is he now?
Yeah, right this moment. Can you bring him into the conversation?
Yeah, I could get him. He's in my room. Probably. He's probably sitting there. You want me to call him?
Yeah, why don't you call him in?
Hi.
I don't want you to get up, but just
Busy,
call for
Frankie.
Chapati.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to? Good day. Very nice to. My name is
Hi.
Japatiji, and can you hear myself here?
Keep on talking.
Carla? So
Yeah.
yes, so it was a time back then that many years back I was making the bread for the families and the people, and everybody. Uh, and I come from an area called Guamadesh, which is in the area on the western side of the north part of Pakistan, and it is a town called Guamadesh, and where I began the breads as a small boy. And I would make the breads, the size of maybe the size of what is it called American, a rupee. I'm sorry, rupee, a small, a nickel. You call it American nickel, or a dime. A dime. I would make these small chapati, very small, and people use it to put on the piece, and they put a candy on the bread, or on or a small nut on the bread, and then they would put it in the mouth, and they tasted it. They like it very much. So I thought, maybe better to make these breads bigger, chapati bread. Maybe 6 inches or 6, not 6 feet, but 6 inches. 6, 8, 9 inches. And I would use them to put what they call a sandwich. I would sandwich the foods on the breads, and it was a good taste. And people, they would have a butter on it. I think it is a butter. That they put a tomato on the bread, or what is it called again? The butter, um, um, they put there's something, an egg on the bread. Um, and they make an egg on the bread, or they would make they said they would shake the eggs down, and they would put a scramble egg on the butter, or then they would, for the people who not, they would put flavors. What did you say? Ghee. Yeah, ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. Are you familiar with ghee? No, I didn't sneeze. I'm sorry, I didn't say sneeze. I said ghee. Ghee, ghee, and that would put a very nice flavor butter on the bread. And I'm sorry with the words butter and bread; they sound like the same word for me here. But it was a very enjoyable. Oil, olive oil on the bread with the ghee. It was just a very uh, sublime, quiet. The thing I enjoy is it created with the right food. It letted the body settle down to quiet and peace, and it's very important. Very important to have this. Um, and this is what I'm doing. I've been creating the show Food with Life. All the times we create different diets that doctors suggest, and we've had the 101 shows. About 90% of it are done with doctors, and how they advise by eating this food or choosing that diet or this or this, you can get rid of everything. everything, all answer everything by allowing the body to settle down, by changing the pH of the body, doing many, many things which we all have the ability to do. It's a matter of what you say is opening eyes. And I think we're all learning as we grow in our what they say is consciousness. As we grow in the consciousness, our eyes are opening wider.
Chapati, do you know any ways of how to get rid of migraines?
To get rid of migraine,
Yeah, I don't
one
get
thing
them.
I can say, you
I don't get them,
you
but
don't difficult here. How are you? I think uh, I think migraine. You can look up when there are. I don't want to play doctor, but you can. There are many ways that migraine. Most important is to do your meditation. Do you do the meditation all the time?
oh yeah, I'm not
I can't hear
asking
you.
for me. I'm asking for a friend of mine. I don't get migraines. I don't even get headaches.
You're asking for.
I
Oh no,
am
I think
asking for
anyone
a
who
friend of
starts out
mine.
doing it right. I think if you start out doing the meditation 2 times a day, and start doing that way for 3 to 6 months, and then see what. You should notice the migraines will come less and less, and will be so severe. And then, if you want to tune the fine tunement, you can. There are some subtle herbs you can introduce to your diet. You know, in a tea form of a tea, a warm water with a tea. Have on your diet maybe 1, 2 times, 3 times a day, which can help you. Can the physiology. You see, I think when migraine comes, it's because the doshas. Are you familiar with the word dosha?
Yes,
Dosha is the different elements. They have air, fire, water, and space. And when you have a combination of the elements in each individual, that is called your prakriti. And your prakriti is two doshas or one dosha. Is what is the predominance in that body, and then you can see what is your dosha or your prakriti, and it may be imbalanced. And by adjusting your diet with herbs and drinks, fluids, teas, what have you, and you're sleeping, and you can make your prakriti more even, more balanced. And this very much can help you with your migraines. Very much so.
I
I
will
think
let.
you have to experiment first, and but I would say if you can. I'm sorry. What was it?
I will mention this to my friend.
Yes, there are many ways, but I think the first thing is to start with what you have before you have to go out and going to a doctor and get medicine or this and that, because it has many ways of healing itself. And I think if you look into this first, you may be very surprised to see that things are getting healthier, the body's getting stronger without you having to go to a doctor. Or you might go to an Irish doctor who I think is very good in helping you balance these doshas or precepts of your body.
Well, I want to thank you so very much for speaking to me tonight, and I hope we can speak again.
My honor.
I would really like to spend more time with with Chapati. And you don't even have the Chapati hat on.
Very good.
Anyway, do you have any last words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom are my most important one is the word is love. The most three important words are what do you think? I think the most three important words on the planet are and I don't mean it in a dark way, but you know love is the most important part of what existence. It what keeps us growing, happy, and keeps us together. And when you can say "I love you," but you mean it in a spiritual way, I think it's very, very, very important and very fun. And I think to me, the most significant part of my life is that I can say that to anybody. And I want to thank you very much, Carla. Very honored to be part of this show. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
we, we
I love you.
tried very hard to get this done, and I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank those who may have watched or will watch on replay. And I am going to end the show now and remind people that this show was sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace one conversation at a time. And let's wave goodbye. Can you wave
Carla,
goodbye?
I have one thing, Carla. One thing I want somebody to watch the show. If I don't know if I gave it, watch the website. It's called foodwithlife.com. That's www.foodwithlife. foodwithlife.com. I think you'll be happy to learn a lot, and you'll be very, very blessed.
Do me a
Thank you so
favor.
much.
Do me a favor. Take the show. Go to YouTube. Not YouTube. Go to Facebook when we're done and put that in the chat under the show so people can watch it.
Good,
With that, we're going to wave goodbye.
good.
Can you wave goodbye with me, please? Wave goodbye, and I will be back again with more interviews. Have a good day, people.